Hello, everybody. This is Selenanil, and we are back in the darkest dungeon. Hi, everybody. I hope you are all having
You
a
answered the letter.
fantastic
Now,
day.
like me, you are a part
I'm
of
sure
this
we've
place.
already sent a large group of people to the sanitarium. Yes, excellent. We're going to be doing an easier mission today because I believe most of our higher level crew are currently occupied. So we're going to go to the cove, I imagine. Or are we forced to go to a higher level mission because we have no lower level healers? Was that it? Shit, it looks like it. Do we have any of our... No, she's busy. She's busy. Alright, we don't want to do that one without some AoE healing. We don't want to do that one without having our guys up to level 4. I think. Shit. Complete 100% of room battles. Well, we can't do this because that's a lower level, right? We're kind of caught between a rock and two sets of teeth. Didn't I kill the siren in the last video? Like, I'm pretty sure that happened. I don't recall losing. Does the Crusader... Oh yeah, the Crusader. Alrighty, we should be able to do this. We're gonna take Keurig. We're gonna take Jakob, Dervile, and Gomez. Yeah. Alright, this seems like a good team. Let's go. Let's go get them some shiznit, man. We're gonna buy some torches. We're trying to save up as much money as possible. So that we can fully upgrade our dudes and their equipment, so they stand a better chance. And we also have to try and remove some of these diseases and all these other nonsenses. But that is currently beside the point. How are y'all doing today? Today should be Thursday, and can I just tell you
Recover these lost
how
shipments
goddamn
of
excited I
rarities,
am for next
that we
week.
may prevent them from falling
So
into
next
even
week,
less scrupulous
the
hands.
female parental unit, who resides within the same house as I do, will be going away. Which, I mean, normally isn't like, yay, because, I mean, I like her. She's cool to have around. It's not like I'm like, get the fuck out or anything. But I recently procured for myself a ham. That's right, bitches. Ham was on sale. And I bought myself a small $10 ham. And I am just absolutely ecstatic waiting for the chance to eat it up. Like, a lot. Like, I love ham. And I just can't wait. And I really wish my father would be going with my mother
Maintain the offensive.
so that I could enjoy the ham completely by myself. It would be the preferred mode of eating.
Enemy crumbles.
But it's just not gonna happen because he's a pain in my ass. Stun him, please. Thank you. Good job, Jacob. I knew I was right to be on your team all these years. That's right. Team Edward, eat your heart out. I've never understood Team Edward. Or Team Jacob, really.
Give them no quarter.
Because, I mean, neither relationship is particularly good for Bella. At all. I mean, Edward literally turns her into a monster. I mean, she's basically some form of sociopath. Bella isn't a good person in Twilight. She just isn't. I mean, she's not a good person. She's not inherently like,
The way is lit. The path is
she's not like Hitler. What the fuck is that? An energized stinger, eh?
follow it.
What's would be good? It's not like she's like Hitler, am I right? She's not out committing atrocities, but at the same time, she's not a good person. And I never got the feeling she was. At all, actually. And it's always sort of bothered me. Because she very readily turns herself into a monster. And, like, disassociates herself from everyone who tries to get close to her. Except for Edward. And it's just... I don't know. There's something about that that's off-putting to me.
Destroy them all.
It's like choosing to be the monster, right? Like, that's the issue. I don't know. Neither of those relationships would have been good for her. I mean, Edward is manipulative as crap and a stalker. Let's not forget the fact that he used to just, like, sit in her room watching her sleep. Because, I mean, that's romantic. You know, it kind of is when you've been married for 5 years. I scroll this victim of cruel fortune who took me upon my wager, for I've lost my lucky coin. Blood flows swiftly from my body, my fingers are cold. Well. And don't get me wrong. I don't... There's just a lot wrong with the relationships in Twilight. And as someone who read Twilight and has a copy of Twilight, like, right over here, I can understand that the thing I like is occasionally,
Now it must be carried home.
how do I... That I, what's the word? I understand that, you know what, it's just very cheap writing. It wasn't trying to, you know, set any sort of crazy boundaries or anything. It wasn't trying to, you know, change the world. But I don't think that really changes the fact that, you know what, it should be held accountable for the abusive relationships within. Especially because it went and spawned 50 Shades of Grey, which for some reason turned all the, you know, 40-year-old vanilla housewives into, like, abuse-craving, wannabe, freaking, I don't know. It was weird. It had a weird effect on people who I know. You're just... We're having this conversation with the wrong person. I know someone who I consider to be quite a friend. Who actually did like a dissertation on the issues with 50 Shades. And they've been able to take a much more academic approach to it than I do currently, which I appreciate. Even if I personally may find it a little ridiculous, but I mean that's fine, right? I mean, hell, I don't know what I would have done a dissertation on. Probably something equally silly. Probably would have been like the theology of Pokemon or something. Something truly ridiculous. Just because that's the kind of shit I would do. I did get into a discussion about that once with a professor, which was quite entertaining to me. I had a professor who I was a good friend with. Like, to the point where we hang out outside of university and we would like get together, have movie nights, play board games. He was just a really cool dude. and we had, I enjoyed spending time with him. I like to think he enjoyed spending time with me. Who knows, right? Who really knows what other people are thinking? I should have healed. That was a mistake. Holy shit. Bandage. I should have... Yeah, should have healed you. I didn't realize you were bleeding for 6. He's a really cool dude. I really enjoy his company.
Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Are we almost out of food? No, okay, yeah, right. He's just a really cool dude. And, so we were chatting once. And at the time, I worked at, an EB Games. And, I knew he had 2 little boys. And one was getting to that age, you know, that Pokemon age. And I was like, so has your son been mentioning Pokemon yet? And his response was, well, yes. He mentions they play it at school, but I mean, he doesn't really seem into it. And I'm like, yeah, he's gonna get into it. And I'm sure I've told this, I'm sure I've had this conversation in another video, I'm positive. Because it's just one of my favorite stories. And I'm like, well, listen, man, when you do end up getting him the DS, just come to me and I'll hook you up on, you know, what you should get and what you shouldn't get, and how to be a smart parent with a kid who likes Pokemon. And he was, like, adamant, like, no, I mean, this isn't a thing that we would do.
If only treasure could
And I'm like, yeah, but it's going to happen. I mean, it is. I don't understand parents who think just because they've never brought video games into a house that their kids are somehow above it. Right? Like, I've seen parents who go like, oh, I mean, we're book people, we're board game people. There's no way I'm going to allow my child to play a game. I'm like, why? What is inherently wrong about your kid enjoying something they clearly like? What, is it the fact that it didn't exist when you were a kid and it's new and scary? Well, don't be ignorant. Right? Like, I mean, I've seen people who are just like, oh no way, video games in my house, not a chance. And I'm like, why? It's not a religious thing, because I mean, if it is, I will ridicule you for that, because there should be no religion that just flat out is just like, yeah, no, video games are bad because we say they are. Not about that life, yo. That's worth less to me than the portrait. And he was just one of those guys. He's like, no, we play board games. We go outside. We don't play video games. We don't do that in this household. And I'm like, that's real cute. But that might be fine and all for you, but I can tell you, your kid's going to want to play video games at some point. And he's like, no way. There's no reason he would ever want to do that. I'm like, there's absolutely a reason. He's going to want to play it because everyone else is going to be playing it. And the kids are going to talk about it. And they're going to, you know, let kids talk about it at school. Kids are going to play it at school. Children are going to be interacting with your child, and your child is going to be out of the loop about what they're doing, and it's just going to be a thing. It actually turns out that this happened, but it was about the video games that it happened primarily to his son, or the card games. Because the kids would be given like a few minutes after break to momentarily play with their, you know, their Pokemon cards and trade and stuff. And so every boy and girl in the class would pull out their Pokemon cards and do a little bit of trading. And his kid would just be sitting there watching all the other kids interact because his parents don't buy him cards because the cards are related to a video game. And I guess this made his son very sad. And he communicates well with his parents. And I guess that my professor's wife didn't enjoy the fact that it was making their son sad. Be heroic, Gomez. Gomez, I love you. And she basically went up to her husband and said, "We are getting a DS for Christmas so that he can play Pokemon, and we're going to get him into the cards." And he sort of discovered that the cards are great tools for teaching math to young people. So he sort of learned to, like, the professor learned to tolerate them in that regard, because at least then he's teaching his son something, I guess. And to be fair, when he came to me looking for what DS to buy, and I was like, is this going to be exclusively for your kid, or is it going to be for, you too? And he, of course, goes, well, there was that Scribblenauts DC game that looked kind of cool. And my wife said there were a few games that looked like she'd have fun playing. I'm like, uh-huh. And he's just like, hush. And I'm like, uh-huh. See, he's a huge comic book fan. Like, huge. And the fact that there was a Scribblenauts DC was just, like, right up his alley and, like, the type of game he would play. And so they got a DS for them to all play. And whatnot. And, yeah. I was just like, it's gonna happen. I don't know why people are so resistant to change like that. It just baffles me. Because, like, again, I mean, my parents, like, are in no way tech savvy. But, like, when they were teenagers and video games were becoming a thing, my parents, got an NES. One of their siblings had a Super Nintendo, and they played Super Mario. Or they had an NES, and they played Mario, and my mother was the only one of the, teens out of the many kids playing this NES. Of course, because they just had so many siblings. She was the only one who could beat the final boss, and she spent hours working on it and playing and playing and playing, and really, they only stack in stacks of 3? That's atrocious. And she was the one to beat Bowser, not one of the boys. And the boys, would always tease her for wanting to play video games because she was a girl. And I'm just like, see, I mean, even my parents, who, really aren't tech savvy, can at least appreciate a video game, right? Like, my dad, I mean, he's never been too into video games. I mean, he has a few that he likes. He used to play fishing games, but he would get really mad and, like, throw the controller. Because, hey, let's face it, I get any of my anger issues from somewheres. And he, that would be a thing. And he would, hey, mission complete. So he would play fishing games, and he was also really into Spyro. And my mother was always more into Mario and whatnot. So, like, for Mother's Day one year when I was working at EB Games, I bought her, what was it? it was like right around the time of the 20th anniversary of Mario. And they released a collection of all, like, Super Mario All-Stars.
A rare and wonderful
And I got her that. So she can play through the old Marios again. Stuff like that, right? I think it's... I need more healers, man. And why aren't you bringing more people? Wait, I needed to upgrade weaponsmithing. I think I needed like 40 of each, though. No, 32 and 35. I'm almost there. We're not gonna blow it. Alright, sorry about me ranting about old times and video games and possibly a conversation I've already had before. I want to thank you all for coming by. Please hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment, and subscribe. We'll be back in the next Darkest Dungeon episode.